Good morning, everybody. I'm glad you joined me again to this little guide about how to use German CVCV, which is the reclist type I have recently published. This is not supposed to be the final guide series video stuff. I plan to do a decent one, but this is just like the rushed, messy version of it until the reclist is out of the beta phase. But because, as I will probably mention later, I am searching for people who want to record this reclist as beta testers, and I actually have those Otoing requests until September 1st. I thought I should probably do this little guide so you, for example, know how the pronunciation works. I will put timestamps in the description so this isn't like too messy and you can skip to the part you really need. First of all, the general information. So, what is German CVCV? And I will probably say it like 5 billion times in this video. I'm sorry. So basically, German CVCV is a recording system I have developed in 2020, I believe. I could probably just look at my own website. In 2020. And basically, it's a reclist for making German voice banks, as you could have already guessed. And now I have made a new system, which is known as version 2. And this is what we are going to talk about today. It basically consists of a core part, which needs to be recorded for every voice bank. This is just your typical CVVC reclist, and an extra part which can be used as an add-on. And this part will basically give you more opportunities to get a smoother sound. It takes inspiration from VCCV English, CVC Russian, and are parsing. And I will start describing how exactly the recording works. First of all, I want to mention I will link this website in the description. I have put a lot of information there, so you should probably check it out if you consider working with the system. So about recording, I first off start to explain how recording a UTAU voice bank in general works, but I will not go into this in this tutorial. I will link down in the description if I don't forget it, another tutorial which explains how to record a voice bank using Oremo. You should definitely use Oremo because you will really have a easier time Otoing if you use background music, and that works pretty well with Oremo. As I mentioned, the reclist consists of two parts. On the one hand, you have the core reclist, which is necessary, and there are basically 3 different options, and they are all standalone, which means you choose one, and you have your voice bank done, basically. And now you might wonder what's the difference. So basically, they are all configured the same. So it doesn't depend later on. Your UTAU will be the same no matter on which core reclist you have recorded. It's just a recording preference. Core 1 basically is a reclist that can be recorded as one mora, like Bab, or two mora, like Baba. Or, if you like that, also as a word-based reclist with the Oremo comment. I will show that. Excuse the mess on my computer. That's Oremo. And you see perfect preparation. You have to choose the core 1 folder. Inside of the core 1 folder is the Oremo comment. And now you can open the core 1 reclist, which has 442 files, and they will look like this. And now you can just read out the word Babylon in this case, and you will later on configure bar and up. So that's basically everything you need to know about the core 1 reclist. And I want to add that even though the background music is not necessary for this one, I would still recommend using one, because the base auto you get with the core 1 reclist looks like this. You have to replace the CV auto line and VC auto line via text replacement, you see here. And if you use background music, you will always sing it on the same time, basically. So your base auto will be more accurate and you will have less pain while autoing, basically. That's it. So yeah, always use background music. Core 2 is a reclist which is sorted by consonants, which means I will open it right here. You always have like the same consonant at one recording unit, and the vowel changes throughout the audio. It's inspired by the CVCV type 1. So if you have already recorded a CV type 1 Voicebank and you are already familiar with that system, this might be good for you. And also in general, if you like consonant-based reclists. And what you can also do is, if you already have a CVCV1 reclist, you can record this reclist and use it as an add-on to your already existing Voicebank. But to do this, you need to use the Rephonemizer, which is one of the resources you can also find on the website. The Rephonemizer for add-on Voicebanks. Basically, put the Python script, or you can also download it as exe, inside of your recording folder and hit it, and it will basically just give you a new auto file. Let's see if I can. Oh god, this will be messy. I want to show you the source code so you basically know what I am talking about. It's inside of Oremo. I'm sorry for this messy tutorial already. Rephonemizer. Yeah, that's it. So it doesn't do a lot. It basically takes the auto.ini and puts generates auto. I don't know how that's called. Rephonemizer.ini, and it changes a few symbols. So later on, everything will work fine with your new Voicebank. Yep. So now let's come to the third reclist, and I must say the third reclist, the core 3, is definitely my favorite. As you see, it's the shortest reclist. It only has 89 files, and it's sorted by vowels, which means in one recording unit you always have the same vowel, but the consonants keep changing. I really prefer this because in German you have a lot of vowels who are only slightly distinct from each other. I believe there are around 15 vowels. It's really a lot. So for non-native speakers or speakers like me who have a dialect while speaking, it can always be difficult to get the vowel sound right and consistent throughout the Voicebank. This reclist really helps because you just have to get a specific vowel right at once, and you can record the entire vowel samples at once, and you don't have to do it again and again. So that's why I think this reclist is a good choice if you don't know what to choose or you're a non-native speaker, unless you don't like multimodal reclists and you prefer something like the core 1. And the extra reclist, basically, let's show this out also. This doesn't matter, it's basically just some prefing vowel transition stuff. But this is the funny part. So basically, this adds a lot of single consonants and consonant-consonant transitions, which will help to improve the pronunciation of German consonant clusters, which why I can only recommend to also record the extra reclist, but it can be a bit tricky to pronounce at first, I believe. So I can't give the perspective of a non-native speaker, but I could really imagine that it's difficult to get that right. Yeah. Also, one thing I forgot, I'm sorry. The core free reclist also has an Oremo comment, but this is very short because for every vowel unit, it gives you a pronunciation example of German, English, and a French word. But I have to add, those pronunciations are not 100% correct. You will probably get away with it. It's pretty close, but they are only close and not perfect, as I said. So now coming to pronunciation, which is probably the most difficult part if you're a non-native speaker. For that, I have the pronunciation guide table things on my website, and you can really check this out. What's the neat thing? Basically, my phoneme system is based on IPA, which is an International Phonetic Alphabet, I believe. And I chose this because I wanted to make this reclist also easy to use for non-German speakers. But there are a few changes, especially in the consonant section, but we will go at this later. So for the pronunciation of the vowels. Basically, I have given you how it's written in the reclist, how it's configured, and an example word in German. I will read them out later. And this has a hyperlink to a Wikipedia page where you can listen to the vowel, and you have a big table of examples of this vowel in other languages. And this is a very useful resource if you don't speak German as a native language. So check it out. I will go over these now. So the first one is the A, like in calm. And you see this sign, this means it's a bit, special, you could say. Now, excuse this if I'm not right. I'm probably also not the best to learn pronunciation from because I have a heavy dialect and not much knowledge of other languages. But if I got it right, the normal A you might know also from French in pat is pronounced differently than the A in German, like in sa or calm. It's only a slight difference, as I have stated here. You can also read it on this Wikipedia page, but there's no IPA sign for it because it's such a rare sound, but you will also get away with pronouncing it as that normal A IPR sound. It won't make a big difference, but I just want to mention it. Then we have a schwa sound. It's like in Beschlag, or the E at end of words, like in hatte. It's like Then the this sound, like in Käse. This is also a word that can vary from dialect to dialect. So if you have a dialect like me, you might say Käse, but don't pronounce it like E, pronounce it like Ä. Then you have E like in stehlen, E. The short I as in Mitte, I, or I, if you want to stretch it. It's always important that you stretch it, even though this vowel wouldn't be stretched normally in German, so you won't record something like b, d, but b, d, and so on. Then the longer I as in meter, I, the short O as in O, often, O, the long O as in ofen, O, the short U as in Mutter, O, O, the short U as in Mut, U, the short Ö as in Hölle, Ö, the long Ö as in Höhle, Ö, the short Ü as in Müller, Ö, the long Ü as in Mühle, Ü, and then the diphthongs, which are Au, Haus, Ei, Heim, and Oi, Eule, which you will know from English, and there's basically almost no difference. So that is the difficult part. There are some difficult consonants as well, but congrats, you managed the vowels. The B is easy. It's like Biene. Then we come to this difficult thing. I have marked everything that's like kind of strange in red. It's pronounced like sh. I would describe it as a softer way of saying sh. And here this says you can say k as in keep, but keep your tongue pressed against the roof. And then you force air through your tongue and the roof of your mouth. Like and now you remove the K sound and you basically have a word like ich. The D is normal. Then there's this J loud like in jungle, also Dschungel in German, but I believe it's jungle in English. It's the same. F like in Hafen. G like in Gang. H like in Hoffen. Then we have, I believe it's called J. I'm not sure, I'm so bad in the English. God. It's basically like, however you call this sign, you would say Jung, as you'd say you. K is normal Kind. L like in Lamm. M like in Maus. N like in Nord. This nasal N thing like in Lang. Pay like in Papier. I just realized that Maus, Nord, long, and paper are super similar to this, so yeah. It's kind of funny. Then you have this, it's a kind of, it isn't like p, but you just smash the P and the F together to say Apfel. Basically, I wrote place your bottom lip against the top of your front teeth. And now you release some air and you mix a P sound in it. You make pf, pf. Just try to spit into your mic, basically. Then you will have this sound. The R sound is awful. I said that it basically sounds as if you're gargling, like. Oh god, yes, no, I won't be able to make it. It's like I can't gargle anymore. I'm so sorry. So basically, just watch a video on this. It sounds like you hear that gargling noise, but you need less vibration. So it's like rot. It's just very slight, sudden, and yeah, ChatGPT, I asked it to give me a guide, and it says to do something with English T, but I have no freaking idea how this should work, so alright, if it works for you, do it, but it doesn't work for me. Rot is the example word for this one. Then there is the end R, which looks like this. In German, and the example is Bär, and it's basically it sounds a little like A anyways, and I said it sounds like mumbling an A sound at the end, but yeah, somehow that's not correct, but actually just mumble an A. Or watch a decent tutorial on German pronunciation. This is like the worst you can watch, actually. I'm sorry. I changed those signs. They are basically easy to pronounce because the S is like Z. So you would say Z, like you would say zoo. The double S is like S in English, so you'd say Wasser, like S in say. But because this might be weird for non-German speakers, I marked it. but it's really just Z and S. Then SH is your typical sound like in Schale. T as in Topf. W is a little bit like the V sound in English, but it's you round your lips a bit more, but there's like more emphasis on the lips. It's like Wand, v, v, wa. But you will also probably get away with just doing a V sound. Yeah, and then there is that sound like in Dach. And I said it sounds like if you want to clean your throat, like but remove that coughing part and now make it a bit less aggressive. So if you make remove the coughing, now less aggressive, and stretch. Dach, Dach, doch. Yeah, that's basically it. And the Z sound is like TS in watts, and the ZH is like J in genie. Congrats, you've mastered German pronunciation. Now let's get to Otoing. So as I mentioned, you can get a free auto from me if you submit your Voicebank until the 1st of September. The requirements are that you may only submit a core voice bank, so no extra voice banks, and also like only a single voice bank. So if you have like 3 voice banks which together form a multi-pitch voice bank, that wouldn't count as one, obviously, because it will be too much work for me. Basically, one person may submit one voice bank, no multi-pitch, no multi-expression stuff, and it may only be core voice banks. And if you don't want me to cry, then please record it with the background music, because everything else will just be very awful for me. And please also use the recommended background music, which is the one that comes with Orimo the nice. Yes, that one. And if you wanna submit a voice bank, please, before starting to record the voice bank, contact me first, because I have awful health, and I can guarantee that my health will just randomly, fuck with me, basically, and I won't be able to do anything anymore. So please contact me beforehand, and I will also help you with anything. And but I'm trying my best. Just please, I don't want you to have the work and then I can't help you out with Otoing. And if you want to contact me, the best way is Twitter or Discord. And if I don't answer, probably try the other one or write me a YouTube comment. So now let's get into Otoing, as I wanted to mention. So Otoing, basically, I have no idea of Otoing. That's probably not the best sentence you should say after announcing you're taking Otoing requests. I am awfully lazy, and when I auto, my insanely well strategy is just, okay, consonant, this is this part, you see, there's like a visible break, and the vowel, this is that part. You basically take the base auto, slap it on the voice bank, and now I put this red line, which is called preadherence, between the consonant and the vowel for the CV syllables. I see the glottal stop. You make, for example, at A as a consonant as well, so that basically counts as consonant vowel syllable. And if I have a vowel consonant syllable, then I put the red line at the end of the vowel, and there's right cutoff at there where the next consonant ends. Basically, look at this picture. That explains it pretty well. I have read that there are people who kind of differentiate between plosive and fricative sounds, I believe it's called. And this is stated very well on the things on this Petit mod. I'm so sorry for this pronunciation right now. That was terribly wrong. I excuse at every to every French person listening to this. Yeah. Anyways, this website is amazing. Just read through it. I have no idea how it works though. Yeah. And same goes for extra voice banks. You have those fancy consonant stuff, and I also have no idea how that works. But basically, how I did it. Do I have set param somewhere so I can? Yeah. I will just try to present to you how I did this. Load. Ooh, that shouldn't happen technically. Okay, I was kind of stupid, I guess. Load. Oh yeah, I just clicked a random FAQ. I'm sorry. Anyways, what I did is basically go somewhere inside of it. Here's the B. This seems to be awfully unordered. Exactly. I put the pre-utterance at the beginning of the consonant to make it look like that. And for the consonant files, I put the pre-utterance between both of the consonants. And for the ending consonant files, I put the pre-utterance at the end of the consonant and left some space here. This was an awful explanation. This sample also looks wrong. We ignore that. Anyways, let's get back to the website. Yeah, that's how Otoing works if you're lazy. And now let's come to the amazing part of UST creation. So the UST is basically the part which sings. And I have linked online tools for my non-native Poles to check them out. So basically this tool, you put some stuff inside of this and it shows you how to split it into syllables, because sometimes in German this isn't like too obvious. So yeah, first syllable will be this, for second will be this, obvious. Yeah, and this tool will give you a IPA translation. Make sure to select German, and it will help you by generating this. And now you can go back to the big pronunciation tables and look. Oh, yeah, so I need to have one syllable like ha and one like lo, and that's basically the same in my reclist phonetic system for this case. Yeah. I explained that you should first do the syllable selection thing, then do this IPR thing, translate IPR into my system, which should be relatively easy as it's based on IPR, and yeah, fetch the syllables from here. And now you will just simply, first of all, see every syllable of the German language will have a vowel inside of it, or a double vowel, which is a diphthong, I believe. That doesn't matter in this case. So basically you see what's the vowel. In this case, for example, it's the A, here it's the here's the I, here's the again. And you basically see, alright, that's my vowel. And now for every syllable, I need a CV and VC syllable. And for the CV syllable, I basically take the vowel plus the consonant which is right left to it. In this case, there is none, so you would just use this a dash, it's called, like you can probably see in this picture. And on the right side, you will see the L sound, and this is, forms the VC syllable, so this will be Al. In this case, you have the I, so you will have at the left side the M, you will have CV my, and VC I with a dash. In this case, you have two consonants between it, and now you might wonder how exactly is that working. So basically, first of all, ignore what's not like right next to the vowel. So you would ignore the T and just do dash e and n. So you have n. We will do that later. In this case again, we have the sound. We will have those, and im, SVC, and this will be ignored for now. So now to everything what we have ignored before. In case you are working with a core-only voice bank, you will have a CV syllable which starts with the consonant you have ignored beforehand, and just cut it very short so the vowel won't be present in the UST. For example, here we have dash E, en, and now this T syllable cut short, so it sounds like ent. Now here we have the she. If you're working with an extra voice bank, you can basically just use consonant-consonant transitions, for example nt or sh and w in this case. And then later on, depending on which kind of voice bank you're using, this is especially useful if you're working with an extra voice bank. You should add more sounds to make it smoother. And I forgot one important part. Alright, what's the important part I forgot? In German, there's a difference between the way you stretch vowels. So basically, if you have several consonants behind a vowel, or like more than one, you would basically shorten it. And if you only have one, you will stretch it. I will quickly write that down. So there's this word, come, with 2M, A is short. Calm, with 1M, A is long. This is the only pronunciation difference. It's the same phoneme, but you would stretch the vowel consonant syllable, so the for this one, so the A is cut short. So you need to take care of this, whether there are several consonants behind it. You can either just figure it out by listening to the string example you have, or by using this rule, but it doesn't always apply. There are some rare cases, for example, in some shorter words, this will tend to not always work. But you will generally don't have too big of pronunciation errors if you struggle with this rule. Yeah, coming back to the transitioning part. Yeah, if you, I will just quickly open the UST I have been working with. It was this one. You will see inside of this that I used a lot of sounds to transition between several sounds. For example, here I wanted to say kush, hen, and between the ush and the he, even though that's not necessary, I used an h transition syllable to make this transition smoother. Another example would, for example, be this, where I put this nf syllable between the ein and fach, or for example this one. That's a way you can make your voice bank sound smoother, basically. And now you see some weird things inside of this, like this syllable shouldn't be there, and this syllable shouldn't be there. That's basically because this voice bank is a beta voice bank, and it's not perfect yet. So everything I'm telling you now is how it should work in theory, but practically, experiment. Yeah. And as there are not too much plugins yet, UST Creation won't be different from UST Creation, just do the same things I just told you, talking about plugins and resources. So you can download the entire reclist here. I should probably have mentioned that earlier. You can download the reclist and the folders and everything you need from this file archive. And you can also get the resources here, by the way, the other resources, which are the rephonomizer I mentioned beforehand. There are 2 versions of the rephonomizer. The first version, as I told you when I talked about Core 2, is the one which will just simply change your Voicebank so that you can record an add-on. That's good if you want the same quality of sound, basically, as a normal version 2 Voicebank. But there's also the standard rephonomizer, which basically duplicates your auto entries, so you don't have to record any extra files, but you can still use, for example, USTs, which were made with the Core 2 version 2 reclist. Or not Core 2, general with CVCV version 2 reclist. This isn't too practical at the moment, but as I plan on doing other plugins, something for lyric input helper and phonomizer, that might be of need later on if there are several resources for the V2, but you don't want to update your Voicebank to V2, which is perfectly fine. You can just use this rephonomizer and you will have all of the files by duplication. Yeah, you can get it from GitHub, Google Drive, or Mediafire. This is Python, and this is exe file. So if you don't have a Python runtime, probably use the Mediafire one. And then there are some patch files for Iro2. They will basically help you if you have a UST which uses the CVCV version 1 reclist. I should probably just find an example for that. I will first demonstrate the other one. So you have 2 patch files, and the one will help you if you have a CVCV version 1 UST to convert it to a CVCV version 2 UST, and the other one will help you if you have an extra UST and you want to convert it back to core, but it's not working perfectly. So it is working, but the pronunciation might be a bit choppy. So this is an extra UST. You can also find on this website, by the way. And now I can select this, and you need to install Iro2, obviously, and put those patch files in the Tcon replacement folder. And now this one will, for example, you have those CC transitioning sound, which wouldn't exist in a core reclist, and this will basically just convert it for you. That's what those files do. Yeah, and that's everything I needed to go over for now, I believe. I would just quickly go through it. So yeah, obviously, please check this website out. There are a lot of guides here, and this might really help. Yeah, I have linked my Voicebank here with further information. I have linked some UST files here you can find as well. Anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, and if you create something with this reclist, I would be extremely glad if you told me. Of course, you can also tell me upwards, in front, I don't know. So I will help you and support you with getting into it. That would really be a pleasure to me. I'm so grateful that you have watched this video until here. I have put so much work in this. I don't know, probably you see this. There are so many Voicebanks in my Voicebank cemetery folder now. You don't even know. Yeah, if you need example Voicebanks for any of the core reclists, just hit me up because I have tested all of them. Anything else? If you have recorded a Voicebank, I would gladly promote it on this website. That would be extremely cool, because it's very sad if there's only my own Voicebank. And I would like to support your work, because I really like that you are interested in German UTAU. Yeah, so that's basically everything for today. I'm glad that you joined in to this messy overview and that you don't matter me being all over the place. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.